Good evening and welcome to a very special edition of Interstellar Nihilism's Thursday night soiree. Tonight we are celebrating a very magical thing that happened to us last Thursday afternoon and last Wednesday night. We ran into none other than Mr. Walter Funk accompanying Daevid Allen of GONG, hanging out in the Lower Haight. David was in town for all of one day. More on how this encounter went down right after we played this brand new song from his brand new album, and we are the first radio station in America to play it. Here is Sound Bites for the Revelation by Daevid Allen, coming at you now on Interstellar Nihilism.
I was a millionaire and I knew it. Had my money in a hedge fund so I couldn't get to it. There was kids starving everywhere and I knew it. People sleeping in the streets out of my feet and I didn't give a shit. Just got me a sheet of bulletproof glass through which they never gonna pass and never get through it. Keep them out of my sight, out of the light, in the night, so only they could see right through it. Then, splash, flash, the market crashed and my hedge fund manager, he so blew it. So I kicked his head in, flushed his face down the toilet, pulled his body out, cut him up and boiled it. Now he's potage du jour at the Wall Street Diner, and I'm in Shanghai, China. And I got my 5-star gold card, bank and checking his excuse. My alibi is blur elephant, it's got murder. It'll get me through it. I just say, Rupert, I just killed a pinko, socialist, communist, anarchist, nigger-loving, child molesting, homosexual, vegan, greedy, house-earth, T-rat spy. But it's okay, you know why? It's just that market forces made me do it. Rupert, I just killed a Greenpeace protester. Market forces made me do it.
The Pope is on the balcony. The priesthood is in flames. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in corporate shame. In the name of the hierarchy of old men with no soul, they lose their grip with trembling fingers, try to keep control. But below the papal balcony, his flock don't give a damn. They've made their life investment in this graven image scam, while the crowd is not returning, despite the shocks and stares. Poor Jesus keeps on bleeding those religious stocks and shares. The Pope is in a holy trance, 'cause the guns have just kicked in. He dreams he's won the holy war against the evil sinners. He thinks somebody must do something to set my priesthood free. We must call in the authority of all my God, that's me. So the spin doctors work overtime, talk up the Catholic brand. No women priest, no gay priest. Let the devil show his hand. The punishment's terrestrial, while Daddy winks and sighs. There's spiritual satisfaction in commercial enterprise. The God of love looks down on this. So why is she not surprised? She gave birth to these wankers with no thank you in their eyes. The Pope is in a holy trance, 'cause the birds have just kicked in. He dreams he's won the holy war against the evil sinners. He thinks somebody must do something to set my priesthood free. We must call in the authority. Oh my God, that's me. I just sit here in my silent room. I look up in the sky. I don't care what you believe in. You don't have to tell me why. Maybe the future creature needs no preachers free of sin. An impostor to look up to. But what is this game we're in? It's just a harmless ritual where everyone pretends. A coin dropped in the money box brings heaven in the end. And the priest, he is a good man. We can all depend on him. to play the part from dawn to dark when the werewolf strikes again.
The devil lives in Tel Aviv, Lucifer's in Vegas. The preacher writes the feature film, the Holy Ghost is nervous. The devil in the detail, Lucifer's on fire. The priesthood hide the evidence, no virgins in the choir.
Now Golgotha is a war zone, it was written in the book. King Arthur and the Virgin Mary swap a knowing look. Make love, not war, they murmur, as they take their Nurofen. As the ghost march of 10 million damaged children comes again. It's just like rock and roll, he said, let's loosen this place up. It could be quite a venue. It's the Walmart face of God. We can sell like hell to the Christians out there shopping for the poor. We invest in the bank of Jesus, and the opposition takes a position, and it's war.
Lucifer's indignant, the priesthood hide the evidence, the Holy Ghost is broken. The devil in the detail, Lucifer's on fire. The priesthood hide their faces, there's no virgin in the choir.
So a funny thing happened to me on my way out of my very first trip to the medical cannabis shop. I was coming out of Goodfellas in the Lower Haight at about 7:45 in the evening last Wednesday night when I hear someone shout, "Yuri!" from a bar that I was passing by. Now, no one knows my real name. That's me, Dr. Sleepless. And so I turned around, and much to my surprise, there is Walter Funk in all his splendor, being a member of the group Quisp, who plays regularly at my I Am in Dust Octophonic Festival. You heard about that last November and October, didn't you? Anyhow, I digress. So Walter's saying, "Yuri, come here. Come on in. I got the spaceman with me." I'm like, "The spaceman? Who the hell's the spaceman?" I should have known that when I walked in the bar, there, in all his splendor, was Daevid Allen of GONG, an old acquaintance of mine, thanks to one Ki-i-tty. So as David tells it, they had just met up at the bar moments before they saw me. And Walter said, "Well, David, what you want to do?" David said, "I don't know. Why don't we give Kitty a call and see if she has any chaos left in her?" And so Walter calls up a number and doesn't get her and something like that. And then moments after hanging up the phone, they see me walking past. And considering me and this amazing Chaos Kitty were once sort of hanging out, to put it mildly, it just seemed oddly synchronous, like a time warp from days of yore. Anyhow, I digress again. We're going far afield there. We were trying to get back to an interview. Yes, this interview was basically a brainstorm that hit me just after listening to the amazing new CD that we're about to hear now. David was in a highly jovial mood. He had just gotten into town and was going to be in San Francisco for all of one day. So what are the odds that I would happen across him and Walter in the Lower Haight, specifically after making my very first medical marijuana purchase? My, oh my, high synchronicities abound with Dr. Sleepless. And now, without further ado, the fantastic new work by Daevid Allen, first played here on the Interstellar Nihilism Show on Radio Valencia.
Oh, daughters of America, posing, pouting, poisoned and photogenetic, flaunting your cosmic cosmetics and relationship wish lists, praying for a millionaire ride on the Milky Way of spermatozoa. When I think of you, I want to throw up. I want to vomit your sleek billboard body in silicone gloves and contraceptive bodysuit, spew forth all that unintelligible mix of sugar and chemicals and modified genitals and ingratiating dollar slime. I want to spit out the rubbery mucus of speculative mood drugs sold online to the sad sluts of alimony, investing their American beauty wisely. Oh, you future mothers of United States, damn it, deregulated and pharmaceutically dangerous, I shit you out. Oh, yeah, you kinky up-fucked mothers, I shit hot tears for you. I squat and squirt forth an endless stream of inbred and half-witted wage slaves, slavering for the bilious buck. I piss forth the promise of a vacuous happiness poised on the fragile splinters of a financial surplus that only exists on the chic silver screens of desktops and laptops and palm tops, and guarded by one-track headless robo-cops, guns blazing over the OK Corral, reefers fizzing and fuzzing the billboard buzzword that spins and stings and kills and wins with bigger and bigger and even more dangerous penis. So come now, come again, and come up with more shrink-wrapped baby Barbie dolls with bottleneck mindsets, pathologically vacuum-packed by white Baptist polytricksters, force-fed and inbred till their eyes are dead with the insanity of a cracked Christianity. Everybody loses in the land of the free, except a few fat cats at the top of the tree, who survey with satisfaction employee stupefaction. Just cool corporate cannon fodder, scrabbling for the lost plot beneath their benevolent gaze. So all you Falun Gong hating old Chinese generals, I'm calling on you now. And where are you now, you Cold War Russian fucknicks of Chechnya and Red Star generals post-Afghanistan? We need you now, so wake up. Calling Colonel Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein's ghost, the Red Brigade, Carlos the Jackal, all lunatic guerrillas and old pro-assassins and the saboteurs. I drink with you to the death of democracy. Bin Laden, come back. Where'd you go? I beg you. You had the missiles. You had the brain. Why didn't you drop the big one on us then? Drop the big one on us now. Wipe out the White House, percolate the Pentagon, bomb the shit out of Hollywood, bring on the apocalypse. I'm getting tired of waiting for the big wave. Bring on the earthquakes, the wars, the floods, the rapes, the pillage, the pestilence. We're getting too fat in this land of farting plenty. We are dripping with pointless excess. And nevertheless, we've sown out the losers, the crazies, the work-shy, the artistically lazy, and the homeless. The homeless are a nuisance. They're getting in my way. They loom up from the lower income sewers like needy tentacles, seeking what we hide. So we trample them down, because we're late for the big game. Out of my way! I have to get back online. So, hear ye now, Jehovah and Allah, and all ye vengeful gods, with your ugly old preachers of guilt and despair. A hiss baller on us, I say. A fatwa, a curse, whichever is worse. And in Nostradamus, what happened to you? In the end, the millennium didn't kill me, it didn't kill you. So were you early with the date? Or is it better luck next time? Damn! Was it just a smart money scam? Or just a psychological millennium jam? Bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, I beg you,
We are not worthy. Drop the big one on us now.
It's such a combination of words that everybody is suddenly stops talking and starts listening, because it's compressing something that they internally feel into a sequence which is absolutely power-packed. And they go, wow, all of these random floating things that I've been thinking have suddenly come into one focus as a piece of written work which compresses it completely down to the essence, and that is a great poem. And you've got Yevtushenko in Russia.
Right.
You've got, well, you don't anymore, but you did have it. You had, in Indonesia, there was one of the great poets there. Oh God, I've forgotten his name. He's such a great one, but he spoke for the people in this extraordinary way. He said all of the things that the government couldn't say, and because it was poetry, because it was high literature, supposedly high literature, the government didn't stop him, because they thought that poetry, well, nobody much listens to poetry. That's the beauty, is that it's one of the most subversive vehicles that exists, because you can't stop people talking, especially if it's a free society. All the little freebies running around there with your neck
Free
braces
ideas.
on, plugged into CIA Central. I mean, honestly, poetry is where the revolution begins. And then if you then empower it with either sound or with music, it gives it emotional context, it gives it a total double hit then it's at its most powerful. It's like a movie soundtrack, and that's what Sound Bites is really. It's like a movie soundtrack to your own compressed, condensed milk of human wisdom.
Milk of human wisdom. So this might intimate to me why the new album is mostly spoken word. Have you been, to be honest, is spoken word more what you're gravitating toward as opposed to singing?
It always has been number one. And you remember that, it's not that much well known, but I was one of the original group of beat poets in Australia in the 1950s. And there were very few of us. There's only about 4 of us, because it's a tiny population. Because there's not much recorded history of 4 or 5 people in their activity.
That's problematic. Yeah, you should have moved to San Francisco, baby.
Well, I did. I split it from there in 1960. I got out of there as soon as I possibly could.
I didn't know that.
And I tried to come to the States, but they asked me, did I want to work here? And I said yes. It was the only time I ever told the truth to the American government, and they shut me out. They wouldn't let me in. So never tell the truth to the American government. They'll always shut you out. It's a law against truth. So I went to England instead, all through Europe.
I see. Okay,
And
that explains it.
I ended up in the Beat Hotel in Paris. So it all came good anyway.
I see.
That's how I met Burroughs and all of the Beat guys. And Brian Geisen was my next door neighbour.
Wow.
So it was a really, really interesting time, and it was very inspiring for me. I worked with Burroughs in London on a thing called Machine Poets. Together with a whole bunch of us, actually, about 10 of us all together.
Wow.
That was really good fun. And I also did the Paris Biennale twice. We did lots of public readings in the American Arts Centre in Paris and in the IC Institute of Contemporary Arts in London. And, for a little while we were the flavour of the month, for a couple of years. So we rode that one out. And then I went back to playing jazz, and I got involved in jazz, playing with Robert Wyatt and Hugh Hopper in their trio. There's only one record out of that, and it's sounds like we're playing on cardboard boxes, and it's a really odd piece of work, but it's fascinating history. But it was really early. However, the English were very pleased about this, because then they said, there you are, you see, psychedelia doesn't come from rock and roll only, it comes from jazz as well. This was a jazz rock band, or ostensibly a jazz band that was leaning towards rock, playing psychedelic music, playing free jazz,
Whoa.
freaking out. So, and this was 1962.
Oh, wow. That is real early on.
So that kind of turns on its head that psychedelia all started in San Francisco or in America. In fact, it was a worldwide movement where people were waking up serendipitously all over the planet. And there was a certain percentage of people everywhere who were doing that. You know, Americans have this way of deciding that because it happened here, because it happened here before anyone else did. I don't know.
Well...
Not that I'm against revelations. Obviously, the name of the album is, you know, sound bites for the revelation. Maybe this is a sound bite happening right now.
It's an impressive
It's true
album.
that in Australia, I only do poetry. I very rarely play music. And I have a little group of us who are all like poetic terrorists, and we rush around the country getting involved in kinds of strange events. And we get on trains and buses, we ask them would they like a poem, and then we do a poem for them. We do every imaginable cafe and venue we possibly can.
Wow.
There's 3 groups of poets in Brisbane. One's called the Speed Poets, but they're kind of a bit like, oh yeah, they're the old punks, you know, they're sort of passé. But I like them a lot. I'm always reading their readings. But the new generation is more sort of, strange mix of many different influences. And my girlfriend Stephanie, who designed the Gong Dreaming Book 2, she was 28, I guess, and so those women were all in that vibe, in this new vibe. And I recognise that in San Francisco as well. The kids in their late 20s and early 30s have really got a buzz going, some really new, interesting buzz. So there you go. So it's there in Australia, of course, it's there everywhere. Just in Australia it's tiny because Australia's population is tiny and the country is huge.
Slam glam? No thank you, ma'am. Don't pick me, click me, or tick me. I don't want to win. I just want to do my art, not spin and skim, not scam and skive. I could do with the cash, but I don't want to win. I just want to stay alive, without the scream of punt or theatrical dive. I want to drive my point without my pocket calculator. I want to speed up, slow down, without some traffic regulator. Snapshot of my psychic serial number. Free to whisper. I want to be free to thunder. And what are the rules about this, I wonder? I want to lose my memory up on the stage. I want to read right off the page and drop the book, stumble, fumble, let my confidence crumble, lose my place, take a couple more sideways looks. I ain't no hard discus, high jump monkey or grand final junkie. I piss in the World Cup of Poets and I drink my warm ginger beer. Winning is for losers who take themselves too seriously. This is my fear. For most all of us here will never win a slam. So what would we know about hot damn slam glam? The day-glow pride of the winning ride, the sense of rejection, dejection, just another one for the collection. That's where I jam. So please don't do this to me, count me out, let my ego go. What is it about the need to applaud and pay the poet who flies the highest on some random lucky day? What does this show? Showbiz? Cabaret? Stand-up? Hey, what about good poetry? That's what I want to know. Ain't it enough? The inspiration, freed hot air and the cold winds of desperation. In this poetry nation, lovers of words and sing-song voices never know droughts of poetic creation. And as long as people share their fears and choices, first prize money's vindication, I can do without, personally, so count me out.
Well, if you don't talk like a normal person, we're gonna hang
I'm not a normal person. I am a demon. Okay. I am the high priest of a demon.
This is Helios Creed, and you're listening to Radio Valencia 87.9 San Francisco.
'tis easy to compare thee with the perfect wave, the crystal vortex. You, who renew yourself endlessly, graceful and serene, Selene. You who swoop and drop through living air to plunge deep into unknown waters, questing the pearl. You, laughing girl, clad in autumn leaves, ablaze with visions. You, defiant woman, challenging the pyramid power of the dominant male, small hands beating on spiked fortress turret. Your true power lies in your silent refusal to comply. You have sleepy lover woman, toes a curl, shaping deep the living seed in a whirly-giggle slipstream of sighs. You brooding beauty, still life by lotus pond, late evening half-moon shimmer, scent of jasmine and jacaranda. What was that? A baby stirring distantly, a future grandchild, or an owl from a wilderness dreamtime. You, the huntress, soft feet on silent knowledge, through the groves of timeless story, the tiny tick of grasshopper clocks, tree frog, glockenspiel, heart chime, through curlicue portcullis to the hall of black mirrors, where I lose my power every time, to the cold-hearted crystal, to the flicker in the serpent's eye. You who stripped me of tricks and defunct defenses, who drew me heart-stopped down the dim tracks to the sacred grove, the quiet place. You who taught me love is letting go of tears. You who speak in animal images, sing in bird languages, the song of pregnant greenery and the knowledge of the tides. You who open my leafy tree brain to the breath of foliage, the long song of the seasons, and the natural marriage of hearts. I celebrate our counterpoint. I sing of sexual magic and the dance of vines. I sing of curling circuitry and the sacred chime of one, of body rhythms and body rhymes, of runes and signs in interwoven wrinkles, of the flicker, flash and twinkle of the flesh-green fuse, the sensuous tip and tingle, flip-flop and fish-flap freckle, sip-sup and suckle the sap, lick the gum tree gum, the wattle tree fat, my sweaty tongue. I slick your soft rocket to a slippery swell of wellspring body juice smell. Then last loosed I lap your liquid locket with the soft slop of saliva, till loins spill with liquefied quim. For what seemed like forever, we made love freely to whoever we pleased. We crashed in jealous flames, but walked away together, giggling, weeping, wistful, mad, to always come back to the one again, triumphant in our loyalty to the spread of love. Now youthful radiance shines from an ancient temple, transforms all witnesses with a voice of bells, defies all ending, feeds her last food to the fearful, and protects the tender. She sees beyond the collapse of structure and the toppling tower of time. Her many voices spiral the sacred spire, revealing all that's singing inside those bodies which dance, which rhyme. Initiatrix, initiatrix. You opened my eyes to the one great she, and show where I, a man, may find her womb in me. Eternal sister, we are free. Eternal sister, we are free. Eternal sister, we are free.
You're listening to an interview with Daevid Allen of GONG, conducted by Dr. Sleepless, May 9th, 2012, in celebration of his brand new album, Sound Bites for the Revelation, which is now available on Flame Dog Records and being debuted for its first airing in America.
We just did a gig in Sao Paulo last weekend.
Yeah.
To like 8,000 people in this street party in Sao Paulo. And it was with GONG Global. That's the Brazilian GONG, the Brazilian rhythm section. And it's really fun.
Whoa.
Anyway, we did this gig. And in the middle of it, I managed to get this poem in it, which was called Brainwash Me, Baby, Brainwash Me Clean. You know, it's like putting your finger up to all of the elements in society that try to make you think in a certain way. But, it was fun to get that in there. And it's curious that a lot of people understood what was going on. Then we went into Opium for the People. I got into this whole little rave about...
Opium for the People?
Yeah, Opium for the People, which is that rock piece. But it was a buzz to play that. But
sounds like it.
We managed to get poetry in there as well. I just try to get poetry in everywhere I possibly can, because I really believe it is the real test of free speech. Because with poetry, you can push the boundaries of free speech, as you should. Push right in there, get into danger area, just to test them, to see whether they're going to come and arrest you, or to see if there is going to be a response. At what point exactly are they going to start coming after you? Let's find out.
An agent provocateur.
The devil's avocado, dear boy.
Well, I would imagine you are among the best when it comes to being that, because that is just gallant, devoting all of your energies, in my opinion, to poetry. See, this is news to me, because when I first saw you perform, it was when you were playing with Roy Harper at Bottom of the Hill, and I don't remember a single word being uttered during that performance. It was loud, distorted, beautiful harmonic guitar, and it was so loud that I literally had to stand outside the venue to hear it crap. But I enjoyed it because it enabled me to smoke out there too. So
yeah, it's true. It's always an advantage of the disadvantage. But I often think that music is best to just stand just outside the room, you know. But this illustrates the two-dimensional nature of the whole thing. On stage, you've got one sound, which has nothing to do with what the audience can hear. And out in the audience you have yet another sound. And then outside the building you have yet another dimension of sound. But, you know, in this Brazil gig on stage we had the worst stage sound, so we were there, we couldn't hear each other at all, so we just had to rush forward down this path to the future together without any sideways reference. We couldn't hear each other.
So it's like playing in the dark.
It is, and then when you come to the end of the first song, if you all stop together, you know everything's okay. But that's how bad it was, and there was like 8,000 people listening.
I wonder how it sounded out there.
Well, apparently it sounded okay, because nobody mentioned that. Unless they're just being polite. I don't think so, though, because we had a number of psychedelic luminaries from the Brazilian scene there.
Ayahuasca gurus, or?
No, they were psychedelic music players.
Oh,
yeah.
Different type of psychedelic.
Yeah, musical gurus. Ones that were the leading... He was a... what's his name again? Oh, it's a really interesting name. They both actually have really interesting names. I mean, there was... One is called Astronaut Penguin.
Astronaut Penguin. That's
right.
Beautiful.
He's a little bit... Maybe... He's a bit... You know, Sid Barrett. I mean, he's a little bit hovering on the danger line. Anyway, but it's interesting music. My God, it's crazy. But the one that's best known, I think, probably to me anyway, is Jupiter Apple. And he's a very serious psycho. You know, he's had an album called Seventh Effervescence, His Civilization.
His Civilization.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jilly, you call me silly, but I think your patience is endless. Jilly, you may be willful, but your mind is existentially boundless. For too long I've stayed fastened and never quite listened, but slowly I've loosened my rope apple roots. This spontaneous flower explains truths in a shower of rockets and crackers. Ah, stuff it, I've lost it. I spray my truth with too much power, comes in thunders, comes on Monday, until collateral damage again. Call it now, call it rude, yes it's zen but quite crude, but like all things eventually has its uses, which only too easily leads to abuses. Excuses are Confucius, he say. Call it saving your face in a mirror arcade. Call it licking your wounds in the shade of a safe, sacred place. Then there's my wild phantom horses that you'd rather not mention, and trample on your roses with the best of intentions. But when laughter it comes first, understanding it comes after, where love is the look peeking over the top of a book. And we know is one knowledge, what the time is in Greenwich, and Big Ben strikes 13 again. For the wisdom of foolish old men, where stillness is settling again. Jilly, oh Jilly, with my hot head of flowers so simple, you see. It takes more than just me to be free. If to give is a kiss, is to bless, to say yes, I'm so joyful, I want to explode. My love for you is the glue in my spine, are the greens in my blues, are these memories now twinkling my toes, eh? But for you I would not be us two, but 1 minus 1 equals 0. Oh dear, naught to show, naught to say, except my emptiness is all full of you.
Fach music, fach passion, fach disco, fach softness, fach freedom, fach seduction, fach beautiful, fach good looks, fach having fun, fach today's solution, fach lycra, fach
Radio Valencia. Providing the music you can get well fucked to. Interstellar nihilism, no such program, chromatic aberrations, Greek mind, and many other bizarre, insane programming choices. You can't go wrong late nights, especially in the AM, on Radio Valencia for the fucked up shit.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the album. So it was produced by your son,
Orlando Furioso.
Orlando Furioso at Flame Dog Studios. Now, is that your own studio, or is that a...
That's a studio that exists in Julie Smythe's house, which is nice. 20 minutes walk along the beach from where I live.
Fair enough. That makes it convenient.
So I usually walk down there at late afternoon, and we have what is laughingly referred to as happy hour. Where we sit around and smoke and drink wine and figure out what we're going to do for the night, which is ahead of us. And then we usually go home and work on something. Nice. But Orlando, the studio's at the back of the house, and that's where Orlando does all his production work. And he is very seriously into, at the moment, he's working with a New Guinea woman who's half New Guinea, half Irish, rapper, who's a tree lopper, who climbs the tops of trees and lops the tips off them, swaying about like way up there, and they're very dangerous. But she's small, compact, very wiry. When you hug her, it's like hugging a tree. When she does rap, it's mind-blowing. I mean, she's a great poet as well, but she's from New Guinea. And she's doing all this New Guinea tribal stuff, rhythms and things, and Orlando's producing this, and he's in love with this. I mean, I don't know if there's any money in it, but it is such an amazing thing. And it is being played a lot on the radio in New Guinea. It's like a big hit in New Guinea. But, you know, it's so funny because you always think of New Guinea as pygmies, you know, and jungle, really, basically.
Right. And here, wow, that's insane. That sounds like a real...
She's a wild woman. She's the best finder of costumes for me. It's fantastic.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
She found me a gorgeous dress, and I put on this dress, and I suddenly felt, yes, this dress, yes. And so I had a poem to do at a Gil Scott Heron tribute on the April the 1st. Yeah, it was a Gil Scott Heron tribute on April the 1st, where I found he'd written this really homophobic poem. And what came out of me as a response was an answer to this, like holding him to account, as it were. And I thought then, if I'm going to do this, I really need to dress as a woman. So I thought, yes, a dress. So I wore this dress, this blue dress that somehow or other makes me feel like an eel, you know, that I can dance like an eel.
Whoa.
And I got this great makeup on the eyes, and I launched myself in with a big cloak that she found me from Middle America, this gigantic Elizabethan cloak, deep red colour, fantastic piece of work. And I went on stage and read Gill's poem, the anti-folk poem. It's about, it's sort of gay bashing in a kind of mute kind of a way, but nevertheless it's annoying, you know, because we love this guy, and it's
right. You don't want to see him.
He's done this, you know. So basically, my idea was, okay, you've done it, all right, okay, but let's sort of like lift the karma off you, because unless it does, you're going to come back as like a Palestinian, Coptic Christian.
I love that concept.
Yeah,
here's your reward.
So anyway, I dropped off the cloak and read my response, and it felt so. And then I danced all night by myself, just this incredible feeling.
In the dress.
Yeah, and sometime in the evening the cops showed up, so I felt so. It makes you feel so powerful. I went forward to the cops and I leaned on the singer and I said, "Hey boys, you need anything?" And they just went, "Oh, right." They got back in the car and left. Successful kind of attempts to frighten the police.
Wow. You should wear a dress every time the cops show up.
I should wear a dress more often, it's true. It certainly feels fantastic. I totally understand why girls love dresses, as distinct from pants.
I often wonder, though, did your legs get cold?
Did I what?
Well, it may not apply if you were in a warm environment, but in San Francisco.
I'll get cold.
Yeah, do your legs get cold?
No, I don't like getting cold.
I mean, when you're wearing a dress, do your legs get cold?
Curiously, no. That's the weird thing. I mean, you could have a jalaba, you could have an Arab jalaba. The ones that they wear in the sun, you know, the bright and the hot sun, they keep the heat out actually, and it's sort of like a kind of, it creates your own climate inside you. You've got your own ecology under the dress, haven't you?
Wow, that's true.
There's a little planet going on there. You go and do the gardening. So once you've got that all lined up, hey presto, magic happens. Hey, it really does happen.
Wunderbar.
Yeah, wunderbar.
Poetry is not a civil servant, is not a soldier. Poetry is in nobody's employ. Smoke rises from my shoes. Smoke rises from my shoes. My limbs are scattered all over the world. My limbs are scattered all over the world. My limbs are scattered all over the world. Ambushed from land, air, and space. Ambushed from land, air, and space. Ambushed from land, air, and space. My millions of legs run, my millions of legs run in panic, fast and furious, fast and furious. My millions of legs run in panic, fast and furious. Oh, yeah. you not curious? Are you not curious? Are you not curious? Hey, hey, the answer is no. None of us ever escape. 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 I watch myself die over and 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 over. I am the blood of my murderers. I am the tears of our mothers. I am the revenge of my fathers. Over and over and over and over and over. Revenge of my fathers over and over and over and over. Forever and ever.